Good morning, students. In a previous class, we discussed about energy level diagram and also important terms. What is excitation? What is excitation energy? What is excitation potential? And also what is the ionization? What is the ionization energy? And also ionization potential. One or two examples also given. And last we just have given a heading. De Broglie's explanation of Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. So it is also called as a Bohr's second postulate. So it is one of the important 3 marks question for PU level. Important question. So generally, what is the Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum? So if you take central part of the atom is called as a nucleus. So where the total positive charge and almost all the mass of the atom concentrated, and all the electrons are around the nucleus, they are revolving outside the nucleus, they are completely, and they are revolving the permitted orbits according to Bohr. So electrons are not revolving in all the orbits. One electron cannot revolve in all the orbits. One electron can revolve only in a allowed orbit or permitted orbit. But in which orbit electron can revolve means, for example, radius of this orbit is equal to r, and principal quantum number of the orbit is equal to n, mass of electron m, and also charge of electron e. In a which orbit electron can revolve generally? According to Bohr, the total angular momentum of electron must be equal to the integral multiples of h by 2 pi. That is according to Bohr. So we can say, so according to Bohr's theory or Bohr's postulate, so according to Bohr or according to Bohr's second postulate, we can write here the angular momentum of electron means MVR is equal to integral multiples of h by 2 pi we can write. That is according to Bohr. So electron of mass m and also speed v is revolving in an orbit r, means angular momentum is equal to MVR, and quantum number of the orbit is equal to n, h Planck's constant. So whenever angular momentum of electron is equal to the integral multiples of h by 2 pi, electron can only revolve in those orbits. So that is only Bohr's second postulate, which is also called as quantization condition of angular momentum. But whatever the postulate proposed by Bohr, he himself failed to explain the postulate. He proposed, and it appears to be puzzling from him also, and he unable to explain the exact the quantization condition of angular momentum. And he thought electron is a particle. But whatever the failure of this Bohr's second postulate is there, 10 years later explained by de Broglie. And de Broglie proposed one hypothesis: any particle which is in a motion is associated with some of the waves which are called nothing but de Broglie waves or matter waves. And after discovery of de Broglie hypothesis, 10 years later of the Bohr's postulate, and he successfully explained Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. And what de Broglie is saying? So we can write here according to de Broglie. So according to de Broglie, so what de Broglie thought means, whenever electron of mass m and charge e is revolving around the nucleus in an orbit, so some of the waves are associated with electron. And what kind of waves he expected means, like standing waves or stationary waves in strings. In a first PUC already we know stationary waves or standing waves. In the waves chapter we have progressive waves and also stationary waves concept is there. For example, if take any one metallic string and the two ends of the string are fixed between the two supports like this, whenever the middle of the wire we plucked, then some of the waves are generated and the waves are moving along the forward direction like this. But because of this obstacle, the wave will be reflected back and superposed with the previous wave. And because of this we got one stationary wave or standing wave. Always where the fixed points are there, we'll get a node. And where the displacement equal to 0 can be called as a node. And where the displacement is a maximum can be taken as antinode. So always stationary waves are formed with the nodes and antinodes. So it is equal also last node, and here also we can take antinode. The distance between any two successive nodes is equal to lambda by 2. Node to node is equal lambda by 2, and the antinode to antinode also equal lambda by 2. Here also if take it is equal to lambda by 2. So total how much means it is equal to lambda. So same way it is only in case of the strings or metallic wires like guitar or violin. Whenever if you plug the wires, we are listening to some music. But why we got that music means only because of the stationary transverse waves. So same way, whenever electron is revolving around the nucleus and some of the waves are associated with electron, what kind of waves means generally we know matter waves or stationary waves. But de Broglie thought they are exactly similar to the stationary waves in a string or standing waves. But here when the electron revolving around the nucleus, the wave must closes itself. So closes means the complete loop we have to get like this. For example, if a wave is not completed or a completely closed loop not there, only for example half of the part is there, then what may be happening means destructive interference takes place. So destructive means the waves try to cancel each other and quickly the wave will dies. That means electron cannot revolve in that orbit. So that's why compulsory whenever the electron is revolving in this orbit, the waves must be appears in the form of closed loops like this. So which are appears to be standing waves or stationary waves in metallic strings. So we can draw the number of loops or segments like this. And where the displacement is equal to 0, we will get a node, and where the displacement is equal to maximum, we will get antinode. For example, here if take it is a node, and also it is equal to node, and the next also we can take a node, and where the displacement is equal to 0, we can take node like this. Here a node to node is equal to lambda by 2. Again here also lambda by 2. It is a, for example, complete if take one segment, and this value is equal lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2 is equal to lambda. And again here to here also if you take this part also will be equal to nothing but a lambda. And also here for example if you take up to here, it is also equal to may take a lambda. So total check how many wavelengths we got. So this value equal also lambda I should write, and observe this one diagram carefully. How many wavelengths lambda we got? 1, 2 and 3 lambda. So 3 lambda means how many segments we got here total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whenever if you got 6 segments, we got 3 lambda, and 4 segments will get 2 lambda, 2 segments 1 lambda, 10 segments 5 lambda. So that means we will not get always odd numbers, only we will get an even number of the segments, and so that the wavelength will be possible in integral multiples. So according to de Broglie, when an electron is revolving around the nucleus, the waves are associated with electron similar to the standing waves or stationary waves in the strings. And the stationary wave around the electron or matter wave around the electron must be closed itself or closes itself. Otherwise, what will be happen? Destructive interference takes place, and the wave will subsides or dies quickly, and electron cannot revolve in that orbit. That's why for electron to revolve around the nucleus, the total distance traveled by electron, which is also called as circumference. So here we can write the circumference of the circular orbit must be equal to the integral multiples of wavelength of the waves. You can write here according to de Broglie. Circumference of circular orbit where the electron is revolving is equal to integral multiples means n into wavelength of waves. So while writing explanation, write in your own words also. According to de Broglie, when an electron is revolving around the nucleus, the waves are associated with electron, and these waves are similar to the standing waves in the metallic strings, and the wave must itself closes itself. Otherwise, if a wave for example not closes itself and a destructive interference takes place, and the waves will cancel each other, and they will die quickly. In that orbit, electron cannot revolve. That's why compulsory the wave must be closes itself. Then the circumference of the circular orbit must be equal to the integral multiples of wavelength of the waves. But the circumference of the circle formula 2 pi r. R is equal radius of the circular orbit where the electron is revolving. So 2 pi r is equal to n into wavelength of the waves is equal to lambda. Wavelength of electron is equal to lambda, you should write. So 2 pi r is equal to n lambda. So it is one equation we take. But according to de Broglie, already we know de Broglie wavelength lambda is equal to h by mv. In a previous last chapter, we already derived this formula also. Mass of electron m, speed of electron v, h Planck's constant, then de Broglie wavelength lambda equal h by mv. In the above formula, lambda place, you may substitute this one and check what you'll get from 1. So therefore, from equation 1, we can write a 2 pi r is equal to n into lambda place, I am writing a h by mv. In this first equation, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda formula, but lambda place we are substituting h by mv. Here take mv left side and 2 pi right side, so that mvr is equal to n into h, same you should write. Take a 2 pi right side, h by 2 pi. Now check, this formula is similar to Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. So de Broglie started his own concept, own synopsis, own theory, and finally he derived the formula for Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum, or nothing but Bohr's second postulate. In this way, de Broglie successfully explained the second postulate of Bohr, or Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. So that's all important. Last we can write conclusion, hence, or this is nothing but Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. This is nothing but a Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. And the last we write a conclusion. So conclusion means whatever question they are asking or whatever the heading you have written, that finally you have to write. Hence, de Broglie explained the Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. De Broglie explained Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. Bohr's quantization condition of angular momentum. So sometimes if electron is revolving in the first orbit of hydrogen atom, then what is how we can write the formula? We know circumference of the first circular orbit is equal to actual formula n lambda. If electron is revolving in the first orbit, then we can write it is equal to 1 lambda. Therefore, circumference of the circular orbit is equal to wavelength of the electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom. So lambda is equal to 2 pi r. If electron is revolving in the second orbit of hydrogen atom, so then we can write a 2 pi r is equal to what we should write? 2 lambda, because n lambda formula is there. 2 pi r is equal to 2 lambda. Here 1 lambda means how many segments we can expect? 2 segments. For every one segment there will be lambda by 2, node. And again here also lambda by 2. Adding both is equal to lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2 equal to lambda. So whenever we got lambda means we can expect a total 2 segments. When electron revolving in the second orbit, 2 pi r is equal to 2 lambda. 2 lambda means into 2, 4 segments. And when electron revolving in the 10th orbit, then 2 pi r is equal to 10 lambda. So 10 lambda means how many segments? Total 20 segments. Double should take 20 segments. So in this way, de Broglie explained Bohr's second postulate. So de Broglie thought the electron is a wave. That's why he successfully explained the concept. And Bohr thought it is nothing but a particle, and he doesn't consider the wave nature. That's why he failed to explain the second postulate. That's all. This is one of the important theory question for 3 marks question for PU level. And for competitive exams, remember that last formula, 2 pi r is equal to n lambda formula. That is important. And the last one, a simple 2 marks question. What are the drawbacks in a Bohr's model? Even though he succeeded to explain the structure of the atom and everything, but a Bohr's model also having some of the drawbacks or limitations. What are the drawbacks or limitations of Bohr's model? What are the limitations or drawbacks? Limitations of Bohr's atom model. But a Bohr's model is not a failure model. So Bohr succeeded in explaining the concepts. And what are the major success in a Bohr's model means he applied quantum mechanics to the structure of the atom. So generally previous scientists like Thomson and everything, they applied classical mechanics. That's why they are not completely succeeded. But Bohr applied classical as well as quantum mechanics. So quantum means we can apply to the electrons, protons, neutrons, and also alpha particle and small atoms we can apply. So that's one of the important success. And second, Bohr calculated the mathematical formula for the structure of the atom, like what is the radius of the orbit, what is the speed of the electron, what is the energy of electron, what is the wave number. So and all these mathematically he calculated. So that's why it is easy to understand mathematical calculations. But earlier we have only empirical formulae. But compared to that, it is one of the success we can say. And one more, he also explained about the hydrogen and hydrogen atoms. What is the spectra concept also explained. So some of the postulates. But what are the drawbacks here? One of the major drawback of Bohr's model is only applicable to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. So they are the simplest atoms which contains only one electron. If you are selecting a complex atom which contains more than one electron, it is quite to explain the Bohr's model. So it is only applicable to Bohr's model is only applicable to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. Bohr's model is only applicable to hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. So generally hydrogen or hydrogen-like atoms contains only one electron. So the spectrum formed by hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms also simple. That's why easy to explain. But whenever if you take a complex atoms contains more than one electron, so we can Bohr unable to explain the spectrum also. That's one drawback. Second one. And Bohr's model doesn't consider the wave nature of electron. He thought only electron is a particle. That's one more drawback. So Bohr's model not considered. Bohr's model not considered the wave nature of electron. He thought electron only particle and he not explained this wave nature concept. And one more, Bohr failed to explain quantization condition also. Bohr's model failed to explain quantization condition of angular momentum. Quantization condition of angular momentum. So which is also called as second postulate. Now only we explain. Bohr explained, but that postulate was explained by de Broglie. That's why it is one of the drawback. He is unable to propose it, but unable to explain the quantization condition of angular momentum. And one more drawback, and Bohr's model not giving any information about the arrangement of electrons in the atom, how the distribution of electrons are there, and what is the arrangement of electrons also not explained. So Bohr could not give information about. Bohr's model could not give information about arrangement and the distribution of electrons in an atom. arrangement and distribution of electrons in an atom is not explained by this model. And one more drawback of the Bohr model, he thought electron only revolving in the circular orbits, but some of the orbits are elliptical. But elliptical orbits concept are not considered by Bohr's model. Later Sommerfeld model only given the elliptical orbits. So here Bohr's model could not give or could not account for elliptical orbits. So according to Bohr's model, electron only revolving in the circular orbits, but some of the orbits are elliptical also, but elliptical orbits of electron are not explained or not given any information by this model. And one more drawback, in a Balmer series, if you take one particular spectral line under powerful spectroscope, whenever we observe the single spectral line, the spectral line contains a group of spectral lines, which is called a fine structure. For example, in the Balmer series, if you take any one spectral line, so spectral line means when electron jumps from higher orbit to the lower orbit, we are getting a sum of the energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation called a spectral line. But with a naked eye, if you observe the spectral line, it is a single. But whenever we are observing the same spectral line with a powerful spectroscope, how it appears means a group of lines will appear like this. A group of closely packed lines will observe like this. So this can be called as a fine structure. So the fine structure of the spectral lines not explained by Bohr's model. That is also one more drawback. So fine structure of spectral lines. Fine structure of spectral lines not explained by this model, Bohr's model. And here only we can say generally, whenever some magnetic field applied to a spectral line, under the presence of the magnetic field, the spectral line can be split into group of the spectral lines, which is called as a Zeeman effect. And whenever we applied electric field, under the presence of the electric field, spectral line also can split into the fine structure, number of lines called Stark effect. So both the Zeeman effect and the Stark effect also not explained by Bohr's model. So this model failed. Bohr's model failed to explain Zeeman effect. Failed to explain Zeeman effect and the Stark effect. Zeeman effect and the Stark effect, one of the drawback. And one more also we can write drawback. When an electron jumps from the higher orbit to lower orbit, but all the spectral lines may not have the same intensity. So different spectral lines will have different intensities. What is the reason? So also not explained by Bohr's model. So relative intensity of the spectral lines. Bohr's model failed to explain relative intensity of or intensities of spectral lines. Bohr's model failed to explain the relative intensities of spectral lines. So these are some of the drawbacks of the Bohr's model, and later these drawbacks were rectified by various models like Sommerfeld and also vector atom model. Various models rectified these drawbacks. So these are some of the limitations. If you need 2 marks question asked, no need to write all the points. At least write 2 points. That's important. If 3 marks asked means write 3 points only. It is not a 5 marks question. So only 2 or 3 will be asked generally. So it is about Bohr's postulates and also drawbacks or limitations of the Bohr's model. Now theory part of the chapter completed. Total theory part completed. And in this chapter total we discussed the Thomson model, Rutherford's model, Bohr's model. These are the 3 models. In each and every model we discussed what are the postulates and also what are the drawbacks. And all the important formulae also given. And we'll discuss numericals from this chapter. And in the yesterday we sent regular PUC material, atoms of material, and also textbook also we sent through WhatsApp group. And go through the material and practice a question to answer type we have given each and every concept, and some extra formula also we covered in the chapter. And the textbook after completion of the material, go through your textbook also line to line, very important. And the last textbook exercise given, around 10 problems are given. So today we'll discuss numericals also, and after completion of the class we'll send need synopsis and also assignment level 1, level 2 through your WhatsApp group. So go through that and practice questions also. Now we'll go for numericals, and problems will display on the screen. So note down the first question. So first to second questions, so both the theory only given. First question, fill in the blanks type given. So just to go through the question. First question. So it is a 12th chapter. You can write a 12.1. Question number 1. It is a 12.1. Check. First question 12.1. Choose the correct alternative from the choice clues given at the end of each statement. So first question only theory question. So total of 5 statements are given. For each and every statement they given one alternative, 2 choices given. So we have to identify which one is correct. So check A. The size of the atom in a Thomson model is a dash the atomic size of the Rutherford's model. So size of the atom in Thomson model is a dash atomic size of the Rutherford model. So options they given: much greater than, no different from, and much less than. So in a Rutherford model, size of the atom 10 power minus 10 meter, spherical shape. In a Thomson model also size same 10 power minus 10. So that's why both are same. So we can take answer no different from. So 12.1 question answer no different from. No different from should write first one option. So here no different from meaning size of the atom in a Thomson model and a Rutherford model same, no different. Next question B. In the ground state of dash and which model electrons are in a stable equilibrium, means in which model electrons are in a stable equilibrium. So Thomson model, Rutherford's model we have to identify. While in a dash electrons always experience a net force. So first case in a ground state of Thomson model electrons are in stable equilibrium. So in a B first one answer Thomson model. In a B first one answer Thomson model. In that B only they asked one more question. While in a dash model electrons always experience a net force. So in Rutherford model central part we are calling as nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus, but electrons always attracted by the electrostatic force of attraction. That's why second one answer will be Rutherford model. In a first blank we should write a Thomson model, whereas in the second blank we should write a Rutherford model. That is a B. Next C, third question. A classical atom based on which model is doomed to collapse? Thomson model, Rutherford model. So according to classical theory, so we discussed the drawbacks of the Rutherford model. Whenever electron is revolving around the nucleus, so electron continuously emitting energy, and electron orbit gradually decreases. Electron moves in the spiral path. Finally, electron fall into the nucleus. Then total atom must be collapsed. In which model this concept? Rutherford model. So C answer Rutherford model. Rutherford model should write. Rutherford model. In Rutherford model only the atom appears to be or doomed to be collapsed. That is C. Next one D. Check fourth one. an atom has a nearly continuous mass distribution in a dash model. Continuous mass distribution, which model means, and one more, but has a highly non-uniform mass distribution in which model. So here also they given Thomson model, Rutherford model given, and they given two blanks. So according to Thomson model, the total mass of the atom uniformly distributed. So first one answer, Thomson model is should write. So first one D, Thomson model. So in a Thomson model, the total mass of the atom is uniformly distributed and electrons are embedded like seeds in the watermelon. But in that only one more question, but has a highly non-uniform mass distribution in which model? Means where the total almost all the mass of the atom concentrated at the central part, which is called Rutherford's model. So second one answer, Rutherford model. First one answer, Thomson model, first blank, and the second blank you should write Rutherford model. And the last question E, in that first question only, fifth one. The positively charged part of the atom possesses most of the mass. Positive charged part means the central part of the atom contains most of the mass. According to which model? Rutherford model or both the models? The positively charged part of the atom possesses most of the mass in both the models. In Thomson model also, most of the part of the atom we can compare like the total matter in the watermelon or plum pudding, and only electrons are lesser number of electrons are embedded in the watermelon. So that's why in both the models, positive charged part contains most of the mass. So we can write answer both the models. Both the models. So that is answer. It is the first question, 12.1. Next is second question, also theory only, read carefully. Second question, suppose you are given a chance to repeat the alpha particle scattering experiment. So already Rutherford conducted experiment under the guidance of Rutherford, Geiser and Marsden conducted experiment. But your question, suppose you are given a chance to repeat the same alpha particle experiment using a thin sheet of solid hydrogen in a place of gold foil, and what result would you expect? So that's the question. Correct. And here one more in bracket, hydrogen is a solid at a temperature below 14 Kelvin. Okay. Check the question. Second question, what they given? Suppose you are given a chance to repeat alpha particle experiment. Instead of the gold foil, we have to use a thin solid hydrogen they given. What result would you expect? For example, in alpha particle experiment, it is an atom, gold nucleus for example, it is a gold, and it is the atom, it is a gold nucleus. Atomic number of the gold is equal to 79. But whenever alpha, it is alpha particle. So alpha particle having atomic number is equal to only 2. But both are plus. Alpha particle plus, it is also plus. Whenever alpha particle is moving in this straight path, what will be happen? Because of the repulsive force between the alpha particle and also gold nucleus, alpha particle unable to move straight path. Instead of that, the path of the alpha particle will be deviated. So that means that there is a scattering takes place like this with a scattering angle theta. Why alpha particle scattered instead of the gold nucleus? Here, comparing to the size of the alpha particle or mass of the alpha particle, gold is nearly 50 times heavy, very large. That's why, because of the alpha particle, gold nucleus may not be altered, may not be changed. But because of the gold nucleus, alpha particle path will be changed. So similar to whenever a train is at rest in a railway station, and we have taken one ball, a rubber ball, and whenever a ball is thrown against a train, what will be happen? So train may not move. So train is very heavy comparing to the ball, but a ball path may be deviated, but a train may not be deviated. Same way, here also train can be compared with the gold nucleus here, and a small ball can be compared with the alpha particle. So here the train is not moving because of the collision, and the gold nucleus also because of the heavy, it is not changing, but alpha particle path will be changes. But it is a Rutherford conducted experiment. But in the question what they given, suppose you are given a chance to repeat the same experiment instead of the gold nucleus. Instead of the gold nucleus, we have to take a solid hydrogen with atomic number 1. So hydrogen having one atomic number 1. But whenever we are sending the same alpha particle in this way, what result would you expect? So here comparing the alpha particle, hydrogen is very smaller. That's why because of the hydrogen nucleus, alpha particle path may not be changed. Correct. For example, a bicycle is kept on the railway track, and a bicycle can be compared with hydrogen nucleus, and a train is moving on the track, and train collided the bicycle. But what happens to the train? No change. The train path or speed may not be altered, but the bicycle may move double the speed of the train almost. Correct. Here also same. So because of the alpha particle, because of the hydrogen nucleus, alpha particle path may not be changed. So alpha particle will move along the straight path. Whenever alpha particle is moving along the straight path, here or maybe here at any part, you may take almost alpha particle may move along the straight path. So, but in this case, we are unable to find the size of the nucleus. Whenever alpha particle is deviating, so we can calculate the size of the nucleus. But here we cannot find the size of the nucleus. Now note down this one. If the alpha particle scattering experiment, if the alpha particle scattering experiment is repeated, alpha particle scattering experiment is repeated, with a solid hydrogen nucleus, instead of gold foil, solid hydrogen nucleus instead of gold foil, comma, the alpha particle will not be scattered. Alpha particle or may not be scattered, since or because alpha particle is heavier than, since alpha particle is heavier than the hydrogen nucleus. Alpha particle is heavier than the hydrogen nucleus. Hence, we cannot determine the size of the nucleus. Hence, we cannot determine the size of the nucleus. If question asked for 1 mark, no need to explain this total part. Simply write, we cannot find the size of the nucleus. Simple. Now we'll go for a third question, 12.3. So go through the question, 12.3, next page. What is the shortest wavelength present in Paschen series? What is the question? What is the shortest wavelength present in the Paschen series of spectral lines? What is the shortest wavelength present in the Paschen series of spectral lines? That's the question. Now we'll calculate. In notes already, for all the spectral series, I calculated both the shortest wavelength and also longest wavelength. But here, what is the shortest wavelength of the Paschen series? They asked. I'll take Paschen series. So here I'll take for Paschen series, least principal quantum number n1 is equal to 3. Should write. For shortest wavelength, what is the higher orbit number? Always infinite. Should take. So n2 is equal to infinity. And take Rydberg constant R is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 per meter. So exact value means 1.09737 also there. We can round off and write up to 1.097. Now we need to calculate lambda. So assume it is a hydrogen atom with atomic number 1. Now I'll write from Rydberg formula. 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. Substitute the values. So it is one of the important 5 marks numerical. First neatly write the data, write the formula, substitute the values here and calculate. 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 1 by 3 square minus 1 by infinity square, that is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 1 by 9 minus 0. So this value is 0. Something by infinity is equal to 0. Therefore it is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 by 9. It is a 1 by lambda value. But if you want to calculate lambda, take a reciprocal. 9 by 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7. 9 by 1.097. That is called 8.204 into 10 to the power of minus 7 meter, or it is equal to 8204 into 10 power minus 10, but 10 power minus 10 meter is equal to 1 angstrom unit. That's the answer. In a final exam, you can stop up to here also, okay. 8.204 into 10 power minus 7 meter. Meter is nothing but SI unit of wavelength. Or if you want to write in angstrom, 8204 also write, your choice. Or 820.4 if you write nanometer. That depending upon your choice you may take, no problem. That is a third question. Next we will go for a 12.4. Note down this question. Write this question first. In your notes already longest wavelength also have given. It is the shortest wavelength, but a longest wavelength also given. Now we'll go for a 12.4th question. We'll display on the screen, note down the question and we'll solve. A difference of 2.3 electron volt separates two energy levels in an atom. A difference of 2.3 electron volt. A difference of 2.3 electron volt separates two energy levels in an atom. What is the frequency of radiation emitted? What is the frequency of radiation emitted when the atom makes a transition from the upper level to the lower level. Atom makes a transition from upper level to lower level. That is the only question. Now check simple question. It is a 2 marks problem. So energy difference E is equal given 2.3 electron volt. And when electron jumps from the higher orbit to lower orbit, what is the frequency of the radiation emitted? We should calculate. We know simple formula E is equal to h nu. We know E value, we know h value. We can find a nu also frequency. But convert this value into joule. That is equal to 2.3 into 1 electron volt to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. That is equal to 3.68 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. And the Planck's constant also we know h is equal to 6.62 or 625 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule. Therefore, from the formula E is equal to H nu, or nu is equal to E by H. 3.68 into 10 to the power of minus 19 divided by 6.625 into 10 to the power of minus 34. 0.55 or 555. 0.555 into 10 to the power of, take 34 to numerator, that is equal to 34 minus 19 minus 15 hertz, plus 15, or you may also write 5.55, one decimal place I'm adjusting right side, into 10 to the power of 14 hertz. It is a frequency of the radiation. So when an electron jumps from higher orbit to the lower orbit, energy difference equal to 2.3 electron volt, then the obtained frequency of the spectral line is equal to 5.55 into 10 power 14 hertz. That's all. Now we'll go for the next question, 12.5. Fifth problem. Note down the question. The ground state energy of hydrogen atom. The ground state energy of hydrogen atom is minus 13.6 electron volt. Ground state energy of hydrogen atom is minus 13.6 electron volt. What are the kinetic and the potential energies? What are the kinetic and potential energies of the electron in this state? Electron in this state. Okay. Check the question. So in a hydrogen atom means atomic number Z is equal to 1. In the ground state they given means a principal quantum number N also 1. In the first orbit of hydrogen atom, energy of electron is minus 13.6 electron volt. But the question they are asking, what is a Ke and what is a Pe? In the previous already I have given formula. First one, kinetic energy of electron. Kinetic energy of electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom, or any general form we can write, Ke is equal to minus E. So kinetic energy of electron and the total energy of electron both are equal in magnitude except the sign. So energy always minus, but Ke is always a plus. So it is equal to minus E. But E place what you should write? Minus 13.6 right here. Therefore Ke is equal to minus of minus 13.6. So minus of minus 13.6 equal to plus. So it is equal to kinetic energy of electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom is equal to plus 13.6 electron volt. Simple. First one answer. Second, B. What is the potential energy asked? Potential energy of electron. Potential energy Pe. But the P is equal to general formula minus 27.2 by n square. But the total energy is equal to only 13.6 by n square. So P is a double comparing to total energy. Therefore, it is equal to 2 into E. P is equal to 2E. But K is equal to minus E formula. Now I'll write here 2 into E is equal to minus 13.6 we should write. So that equal to minus 2 into 13.6 is equal to 27.2 electron volt. So it is one of the simple question. So kinetic energy of electron is 13.6 electron volt and the P of electron is equal to minus 27.2 electron volt. Next question, 12.6. So note down the question. We'll display on the screen. Question number 12.6. A hydrogen atom is initially in the ground level observes a photon which excites it to the n is equal to fourth level, excites it to n is equal to 4 level. Determine the wavelength and the frequency of photon. Determine the wavelength and the frequency of photon. Wavelength and the frequency of photon. That is the question. Check here. Initially, the electron in the hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom means we take a Z is equal to 1. So starting it is in the ground level. N1 is equal to 1. But later, because of absorption of energy, electron jumps from this first orbit to the fourth orbit. N is equal to 4 given. So we can write N1 is equal to 1 and N2 is equal to 4. What is the wavelength of the spectral line? Also, what is the frequency of the spectral line? These two you should calculate. So we have one method. We can use the Rydberg formula. 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square. One more method, E is equal to E4 minus E1, excitation energy formula. Electron jumps from the 1 to 4th orbit means it is equal to E4 minus E1. After getting E4 minus E1 equal to Hc by lambda. Then we can find frequency also. Now I'll go one method, first one. From the formula 1 by lambda is equal to R into 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square we can write, one method. Already we know Rydberg constant value also 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 per meter. Write this value. Therefore 1 by lambda is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 4 square. That is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 1 minus 1 by 16. That is equal to 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 16 minus 1 is equal to 15 divided by 16. It is a 1 by lambda. Take a reciprocal on both sides. Lambda is equal to 16 by 1.097 into 10 to the power of 7 into 15. Now first divide 16 by 1.097 and then divide by 15. 16 divided by 1.097 equal to, we'll get something value, and again divide by 15. Divided by 15. 0.0677 into 10 to the power of minus 7, or it is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. 677. Check once again calculation. 16 by 1.097 equal to, and then divide with the 15 by 15. Hmm. 0.9723, 0.972 or 0.9723, and if you adjust 3 digits here, therefore lambda is equal to 972.3. 972.3 into 10 power minus 10 meter, or 972.3 angstrom you should write. That is the wavelength of electron. And one more, last 1 minute only. They asked frequency. Frequency of the spectral line nu is equal to formula C by lambda. Already we know C is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 0.9723 into 10 to the power of minus 7, 8 plus 7, 10 to the power of 15, that equal 3 by 0.9723, 3.08, okay, 085 into 10 power 15 hertz. Check calculation, correct? 3 by 0.9723. Approximately 3.1 into 10 to the power of 15 hertz. On rounding of the number, write this value. That is the frequency of the spectral line and the wavelength of the spectral line. So in tomorrow class we'll discuss remaining 4 problems, and today we'll send CET also, NEET material through WhatsApp. Go through that material also, synopsis and levels. Thank you.